Hi there. Welcome to Positive Affirmations Tuesdays. And for anybody that watches this video as a replay, just know that it was originally streamed live with live chat interaction. So you might hear me making comments or referring to somebody or saying hi when they come on board. So that's what that is about. We would talk about loving ourselves unconditionally because that's hard. It's hard to love anybody unconditionally, right? And it's really hard to love ourselves unconditionally because I think probably nobody beats up on ourselves more than we do. And also, we're hyper aware of our faults and the mistakes that we've made and our imperfections and where we think that we fall short. And so I think we're hyper aware of that. And that leads to being really self-critical. And so it's hard to love yourself unconditionally while you're beating yourself up, right? So let's go into this reading. Let me get something to drink first, because otherwise my mouth will dry out. So today's reading is about loving ourselves unconditionally. I get it out of this, I found the camera, out of this wonderful little book. Lots of little books like this, but this is kind of always my go-to. Well, hi, Ronnie Lynn. Hi, how are you? So today is about loving ourselves unconditionally, I was saying. So I'm just getting ready to do the reading. So, loving ourselves unconditionally. Love yourself into health and a good life of your own. Love yourself into relationships that work for you and the other person. Love yourself into peace, happiness, joy, success, and content. Love yourself into all that you have always wanted. We can stop treating ourselves the way others have treated us. If they behaved in a less than healthy, desirable way, if we learned to see ourselves critically, conditionally, and in a diminishing and punishing way, it's time to stop. Other people treated us that way, but it's even worse to treat ourselves that way now. Loving ourselves may seem foreign, even foolish at times. People may accuse us of being selfish. We don't have to believe them. People who love themselves are truly able to love others and let others love them. People who love themselves and hold themselves in high esteem are those who give the most, contribute the most, love the most. How do we love ourselves? By forcing it at first. By faking it if necessary. Hi, Sarah. By acting as if. By working as hard at loving and liking ourselves as we have at not liking ourselves. Explore what it means to love yourself. Do things for yourself that reflect compassionate, nurturing self-love. Embrace and love all of yourself, past, present, and future. Forgive yourself quickly and as often as necessary. Encourage yourself. Tell yourself good things about yourself. If we think and believe negative ideas, get them out in the open quickly and honestly so we can replace those beliefs with better ones. Pat yourself on the back when necessary. Discipline yourself when necessary. Ask for help, for time. Ask for what you need. Sometimes give yourself treats. Do not treat yourself like a pack mule, always pushing and driving harder. Learn to be good to yourself. Choose behaviors with preferable consequences. Treating yourself well is one. Well, hi, Quinn. Welcome. Learn to stop your pain, even when that means making difficult decisions. Do not unnecessarily deprive yourself. Sometimes give yourself what you want just because you want it. Stop explaining and justifying yourself. When you make mistakes, let them go. We learn, we grow, and we learn some more, and through it all, we love ourselves. We work at it, then work at it some more. One day we'll wake up and look in the mirror and find that loving ourselves has become habitual. We're now living with a person who gives and receives love, because the person that loves him or herself, self-love will take hold and become a guiding force in our life. And the affirmation is, today I will work at loving myself. I will work as hard at loving myself as I have at not liking myself. Help me let go of self-hate and behaviors that reflect not liking myself. Help me replace those with behaviors that reflect self-love. Help me hold myself in high esteem. Help me know that I'm lovable and capable of giving and receiving love. That's a tall order, right? It's not easy to always love ourselves or even like ourselves, right? I think, like I was saying at the very beginning, we know all of our mistakes and we probably rehash them more than we should. We know all of our character defects and the places where we think we fall short. And we probably beat ourselves up over that. And that does kind of that is kind of a nasty habit, and it does become a habit, right? And it's not a nice one. Loving ourselves and loving ourselves unconditionally is not easy, because I think for most of us, we always we have such high expectations of ourselves, right? We have, I'm going to tell you, they're not always realistic expectations. Okay, we set the bar really high most of the time for ourselves, and for most of us, when we don't meet it, an unrealistically high expectation, when we don't meet it, we start to beat ourselves up about it. Well, of course you didn't finish that. Oh, look at how terrible that is. What were you thinking for even trying? You know you can't do stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. And you can replace that narrative with anything that is true for you, right? I don't know what how would I say? I really don't know what the perfect recipe or the perfect combination is for how to love ourselves. But I noticed in this reading, Melody Bay, who wrote this book and everything in it, I love how she said, like, nurture yourself, pat yourself on the back when you deserve it, right? And I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about really learning how to appreciate ourselves and appreciate everything that we do. And that includes the stuff that we don't want to do, right? I don't necessarily want to do my laundry, but I really don't want dirty laundry laying around, right? I don't necessarily want to clean my house twice a week, 3 times a week, however much I do it. But I also don't want a dirty house because that would drive me like really insane. So there's things about adulting that we don't want to do, but we do them. And I think we owe ourselves a thank you when we do that. And I said that. And I said, whenever we had this talk, and I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, I'm going to start thanking myself when I do that stuff. And did it seem kind of silly at first, the first couple times I did it, because I said it out loud. And because like you don't thank anybody else inside your head and expect them to get the message, right? So did it feel kind of silly? Yeah, but going, Annette, thank you for saying, Annette, the house looks great. Thank you for cleaning the house. It really looks great. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks for laundry. Hey, thanks for making this food. It's really good, Annette. Thank you, right? And it kind of maybe kind of snicker a little bit and smile. But that just made it better. That just made it better. So I love that she said, in this reading, that I think one of the ways that you can begin to love yourself, I think, is to show yourself appreciation and to give yourself that pat on the back for whatever it is. I have and do not be too hard on yourself. So I'm going to tell you, I have a cooking stream later on another channel. And hey, what is happening? Well, it just wouldn't be a stream without that going on. Somebody's working outside. So they're, of course, going bananas over whatever gardening machine is being used. Anyways, I have a cooking stream later. And so it's, it's fajitas and homemade tortillas. And for years, I've wanted to get a tortilla press and learn how to make tortillas. And I decided that this year was going to be the year that I really did some of that stuff. So I got the tortilla. I'm going to learn how to eat with chopsticks without the kitty thing on the top. I'm going to try. And that seems silly, but it's something I wanted to do for years and years and years. And so I made up my mind, this year I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to learn how to make tortillas with a tortilla press. I'm going to learn how to make California rolls. And I'm just going to get this fluff, this fluff off my bucket list, right? And so I got a tortilla press, and so I always try, if it's a brand new recipe, to try it kind of first, do a run through before I'm actually live. And these tortillas are not really turning out the way I thought that they would. It's not. It's a relatively simple recipe. They're turning out really thick and almost more like pitas or like naan, which I love. But that's not what I want with fajitas, and it's certainly not what I want to serve my guests later with their fajitas, right? Some big old thick tortilla. So, of course, I was disappointed, right? But I made sure to thank myself for the effort. And I made sure to appreciate the fact that I'm almost 56 years old in 4 more days, and I've never had an experience with a tortilla that wasn't served to me in a restaurant or didn't come out of a package. And it was my first run. I never used it for, and I made sure to tell myself, hey, don't be disappointed. It's your first time ever. Of course, it was not going to be perfect. Ronnie Lynn says that pie was perfect yesterday. That pie didn't turn out too bad, did it? But today was a different kind of experience. So luckily I have a little bit of time in between this. But what I did notice, besides my tortillas not being perfect, was that I didn't beat myself up the way maybe I would have in the past. And that's progress. Yeah, I'm almost 56 years old. Yeah, it took me that many years of life to get there. But I think the part of loving and appreciating and accepting myself is finding humor when things don't go the way I wanted them to, instead of immediately beating up on myself, and not ruining the experience or experiment, right? Not ruining that. Wherefore, when I was much younger, I might have gotten really frustrated and just thrown in the whole towel. I would have just boxed the tortilla press back up and, said a couple really choice cuss words and dropped some F-bombs around, and I would have stomped around. I would have just boxed the tortilla press up and, stored it away or given it away or sold it or whatever. Instead of appreciating that it was my first time ever trying it and not beating myself up for that. And instead going, oh my gosh, look at you. Look at you. You've wanted to try this for years. And look at you. You're following through on that, right? It may seem silly. It may seem like a simple thing. Oh, learning how to eat with chopsticks, or learning how to make tortillas, or making a chocolate cream pie for the first time, whatever it is. But I've always wanted to be a better baker. I don't necessarily want to end up on a baking show or anything like that. I just want to be a better baker. And so I tried. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for progress. And I'm looking for times when I follow through. Sometimes we have, like I said, it could seem like a really silly, frivolous goal to somebody. Oh, learning how to eat with chopsticks, or getting a tortilla press, or learning how to make a California roll, or at least trying. That may seem really frivolous, but how many things have we all wanted to try before in life? We put it off, 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 and we never even make the effort. I think anything that we want to try or do, or any way that we want to express ourselves and be artistic, I think it's important. I think it's important. And I know if I do master eating with chopsticks, I'm going to, feel pretty good when I eat out in a Chinese restaurant. I'll just, right? Sarah says, I have more confidence for others than myself, and I know others feel that too. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. This is what I'm saying. And what undermines our confidence in ourselves is when we try something and it doesn't work out the way we want, and then we beat ourselves up. Because why would we want to try again? Why would anybody? If somebody's learning something new and they don't get it right, and the person teaching them or somebody that's with them beats them up about it, Well, then they feel ashamed and it's not fun. And why would they want, and they're embarrassed. And why would they want to try? It completely undermines any confidence. When you should feel good just about stepping into the ring and trying it, whatever it is. The fact that you took it from an idea or a thought and a want and a desire, and you followed through with it and actually stepped up to the plate and took a swing, that deserves to be recognized, right? The fact that you're there, the fact that you showed up for whatever it is. But you beat yourself up about it, you don't want to try again. Or you really don't want to try in front of anybody else, right? Yeah, I agree with what Sarah says. You know, you have more confidence in others. I'll root. I will be your biggest cheerleader, and I will root for you from the starting line to the finish line, and whatever it is that you want to do. I just will. I'm going to tell you how great it was, and when you tell me how it wasn't, I'm going to say, come on, and I'm going to, I'm going to lift you back up. But I don't always do that for myself. I'm learning, but I don't always do that for myself. And I think it's really important that we learn how to be as good of a friend to ourselves as we are for other people. We have to learn how to show up for ourselves the way we do for other people. It's not always easy because, like I said, we know our faults and we know the mistakes that we've made. And, we know the areas where we fall short. And, we're very critical of ourselves. So it's hard to be encouraging, right? When you're beating yourself up most of the time. So I think that we have to figure out a way to change that inner dialogue. Ronnie says, my comment was too long. See, Ronnie right away criticizes herself, right? But I wrote that I'm ungraceful and bump into things and drop things. I beat myself up for being ungraceful. Well, I mean, you're not a ballerina, right? We all get distracted. I bump into things. I drop things, right? Jemima, she rolled off the ottoman onto the in between the wall and the ottoman today. She's never done that before. I don't know what that was about. I didn't go over there and tell her, you big idiot, you big dummy. What did you do that for? Went over and said, oh my God. Like, what happened? What happened there? Ronnie, maybe if you're bumping into things all the time, maybe you need to just feng shui your apartment a little differently, right? Maybe things aren't where they should be in the furniture universe if you're always bumping into them, right? Try it, because maybe it's not about you. Maybe the furniture is trying to tell you, I am not where I'm supposed to be, lady. And the only way it can get your attention is for you to keep tripping over it. Right? It could be. This could be as simple as years and years and years of you telling yourself that you're ungraceful could really just all boil down to furniture placement. maybe you just need to rethink your design, right? Try it. Try it. Okay? Um, try it. And then thank yourself for moving the furniture after you do it. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for moving this furniture around. And I hope that it works better, right? But thank yourself. So, I mean, we're human. We're going to drop things. We're going to, bump into things. But you don't have to struggle. Sometimes you don't have to struggle with it. Just move the coffee table. It's not ideally placed. Nobody needs to break a hip going into the, from the couch into the kitchen for another cup of coffee. So just try it. But and who knows, right? And that might change your whole. But you might have a good laugh about it and say, "My God, all these years I told myself I was so ungraceful, and really I was wasn't very good at interior decorating, right?" Try that, and then appreciate that you made the effort. And then if you keep on, and I say coffee table, it might not be the coffee table, but you keep on bumping into the coffee table, ask yourself how much you really need the coffee table. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you're trying to force a relationship that just isn't meant to be. And I'm joking, of course, but sometimes things can't be solved that easily. So I wish all problems could be solved by simply feng shuiing something a little bit differently. But I also think I've been thinking about this, and we'll see what you guys think. So I've talked about before how I've made my own positive affirmation cards, right? And I was thinking maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a creative positive affirmation day. And listen, listen. This isn't about being an artist or a poet or anything like that. It doesn't have to be some big elaborate thing. I think I made the ones that I made before. I think I even made them with like index cards and markers. And so what do you guys think about maybe, I don't know, like at least 3 or 4 weeks? Give everybody a chance to figure out what they want to use. But we'll have a positive affirmation Tuesdays where we make our own affirmations. Listen, you can use Post-it notes, right? And a Sharpie. You can get index cards at Dollar Tree, and a pack of markers if you want. And I'll go through. What I'll do is I'll go through some of these affirmation books and meditation books and come up with different topics, and then everybody can choose the ones that they like and choose their own affirmation, because you have to say it in a way that resonates for you. You have to use verbiage that resonates for you. Sometimes the way somebody else says something, or it is perfect, and it syncs and it makes sense, and all the planets align, right? And it's great. But sometimes you just have to rewrite it in a way that's more personal for you. Would you guys like to try that? Maybe? Because I've been wanting to make some more for myself. And like I said, it's not, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. I mean, I've looked on Amazon where you can actually get it really is kind of like a deck of cards that you can, make your own stuff. I'm not I'm not very artistic when it comes to drawing and things like that. So, and I don't know how much a stick figure person would motivate me. So, I won't necessarily be doing that, but I do like, my pretty different colored markers, and I can certainly make little flowers and little hearts. But I have been meaning, and I have been wanting to do that again. And so I would like to do it. So, and it looks like Ronnie would like to do it. And I don't know who else might like to do it. And just remember, these are for yourself. And Sarah would like to do it, so that's great. So we will do it. And, and I have talked before about, I mean, I live alone with the dog. I mean, the dogs don't care what I do or what I have, they don't go through my stuff. They don't judge me, I don't think. But Joe, I live alone, so I understand that I have the luxury of leaving things like journals and cards and stuff like that, leaving that out because I don't have to worry about, feeling vulnerable in front of anybody else. So while I understand that, I'm fortunate that way. I know that that's not how it is for everybody, and other people might be in relationships that are really, I'm not saying the relationships are healthy or your partner's going through your stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But it's still, there's some things that even in a relationship, 20, 30 years, you might want to keep private and just for you. So I have talked about before that you might want to get a box, a shoe box or whatever, and you can kind of decorate it, decoupage, whatever it is you want to do to it, and then you can keep stuff like that in your box and put your little box, somewhere where you feel good about it, but that's accessible for you too. So, if you don't have your own space, then consider just getting yourself a little private place where you could keep stuff like that. Okay, so we'll do that in a few weeks, and I think making your own affirmation cards, I think you guys are gonna really like that, because like I said, we all know, look, we critique ourselves a lot. Nobody is immune to that, and but there are different ways that you can phrase stuff. You can't. There are ways to turn some of the self-talk that we say that's negative. There is some ways to tweak that message to make it more encouraging and more loving and more supportive, and kind of take some of the shame out of it. So we'll kind of talk about that, and you might want to make like a list of the things about you that bother you, that you find yourself being less than nice to yourself about. Make that list. Where and when and what about does that negative self-talk seem to crop up the most? And then we'll figure out a way, and you don't have to share that here, but can figure out a way how to turn, because I'll share mine, and how I'm going to turn some of that negative self-talk into something that's more loving and supportive and encouraging, and then put that on one of my cards. So let's work on that. And I'll schedule it, and I'm thinking maybe like 4 weeks, because I think I already have the next 3 weeks scheduled out for positive affirmations. And I want to make sure that I'm really clear about what date that is, so that everybody can be ready with their stuff. Okay? All right. So let's get to our card for today, our affirmation. And this is what it says. Can you see it? What you seek is seeking you. What you seek is seeking you. And the question on the back says, what 3 areas of my life am I ready to transform this year? What specifically would I like to change in these areas? So what 3 areas of my life am I ready to transform? And what specifically would I like to change in these areas? First you have to acknowledge. In life, you have to acknowledge a need, a want, whatever it is. You have to acknowledge it. And then sometimes you have to be really specific about that need or want. So think about that. What 3 things? Don't make it too big. It's just a year, just 12 months. But where are 3 areas that you'd like to see a change for the better in your life? And what specifically, what's your plan? What specifically do you want to change in that area? Okay, so it says, I'm trying to learn to write a journal on a 6-week course at a college, but it's not going easy, but I'm not quitting. Don't quit. I don't know what, I don't know what specifically that would entail, a 6-week course on writing a journal, but I imagine maybe it has some really specific topics, for you to kind of cover. But good for you. Journaling, a lot of people find it really helpful. It's sometimes just to get the noise out, right? There was Julie Cameron. She's a writer. She was married to Martin Scorsese, and she wrote some really great books. And I do have them, of course. I can't think. The Artist's Way. You guys have probably heard of The Artist's Way. And she talks about in The Artist's Way that one of the most important things that you can do is to do what she calls morning pages. And it's where you really just sit down for 30 minutes. And it's just whatever comes to mind, you just write it for 30 whole minutes. And just get it out. Get it out and on the paper. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to be problem solving. It doesn't have to be artistic. It doesn't have to be anything like that. But you just, okay, so Quinn says that he has The Artist's Way, and he has done morning pages for over 2 years. So I did them before. And at first it was odd to write without a goal or a purpose, I guess, but I did find that it got all the fuzzy stuff out, if that makes sense. It seemed to make things a little bit clearer. And they're really great books. And I also, one year when I went, I took a cruise. I went to Mexico with a friend, and we stopped at went right out of my head. Catalina. We stopped at Catalina Island, and in this little like gift shop. I'll show you what I found. Oh, and of course the Artist's Way was right on top of it. So this is the Artist's Way, and she has another one, but I found this. It's the Artist's Way Creativity Kit, and I found it, like I said, Catalina Island, and it's got it's got incense. It has like a little journal and stuff. I just have a hard time finding that camera. But what's really cool are these discs. And I used to shuffle them. And once a month I would pick one, sometimes more. And let's go see what this one says. Okay, that one says, can you see it? Am I too close? Try to walk in the woods without making a sound. Make earrings out of wire and beads. Sew bells on your blue jeans. So, and I did do. I would pull some of these, and I would do some. I remember one time I got one that said, make a grass skirt, like a hula skirt, out of silk ribbon. That was really fun, and it was really pretty. Quinn says that he found at the beginning, when he was doing the morning pages, it got rid of a lot of negative energy out of my mind onto the page. Yeah, so I just found that it just got like the noise out, just some of the gibberish out, and I just was a lot clearer, a lot more focused for whatever it was that I wanted to do that day. So journaling is important, and I know that Julia Cameron, she doesn't necessarily consider the morning pages journaling, but to me it's the same goal as journaling. You are just trying to get the negativity and the nonsense out of here and someplace else, so that what's in here is clearer, and you can be more focused and creative, or whatever it is that you want to do, or move furniture, if you will, right, Ronnie? Or take your 6-week course on journaling like Sarah's doing. So, all right. Remember, be nicer to yourselves, right? That's the start. Nobody, I don't think there's anybody that completely loves themselves unconditionally. It's too hard to love yourself unconditionally when you know, like I said, when you know where all the bodies are hidden, right? When you know where all the bodies are buried, where you've made all your mistakes, and where you're less than perfect. But when I have somebody in my life that I love, I don't love them because I have some ideology that they're perfect. I know that they're not perfect. And me loving them is not conditional on them being perfect. And so I need to learn how to stop being so hypocritical, and to start applying that same set of standards for myself. I'm not perfect. I don't know what perfect is. Even if I did know what it was and there was a blueprint sketch to it, I couldn't promise you I could never, I could never achieve it to satisfy everybody. I don't need to satisfy everybody. I just need to do good enough, and I need to enjoy the journey. I need to enjoy the process, whatever it is, whether it's learning to eat with chopsticks, or learning how to make tortillas, or learning to laugh when none of that works. Whatever it is, I need to enjoy the process. I am closer to my death than I am to my birth. And I will not live another 55 years, that's for sure. But however long I still have left, I don't want to live it the way that I lived the first 55 years. I'm gonna relax, right? And when I mean relax, I don't mean, sit in the chair and watch TV, though I enjoy that too. What I mean about relaxing is I want to relax, like when people tell you just relax, don't get so stressed out. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Don't be so invested in the outcome. Right? Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Just relax. It's okay. It's okay. Don't white knuckle. Life doesn't have to be so hard. You don't have to white knuckle your way through everything. Just relax. If something goes wrong, I've dealt with a lot of those situations. I will handle it, whatever it is. I promise you, and I promise me, I'll handle it. I don't have to rob myself of a great experience because I'm so worried that it's going to end wrong and badly, or I'm going to screw it up. Let's screw it up. That's not a new condition for me, right? I'm always going to screw something up. Always. I was in the studio last night and I screwed something up, pouring resin. I should have known better, but it happens. Okay, so we start over again, right? So I'm always going to screw something up, but don't have to beat myself up about it. Instead of going, God, you always screw stuff up, I can rephrase that and go, God, Annette, you are tenacious, girl. Boy, I mean, you certainly hit that floor pretty hard a lot of the times, but you get back up, maybe not as gracefully and without, I got a lot more aches and pains when I get myself back up, but I get myself back up and I dust myself back off and I try it again. And I try it again. So instead of going, you're such a screw up, you screw everything up, I can go, girl, nobody does a comeback like you. Nobody does a comeback like you, Annette. Right? That's acknowledging the screw up, but it's acknowledging the get back up more. It's a lot more encouraging, right? Does that make sense to anybody or just to me? It's okay. It can make sense just to me. I need these Tuesdays too. All right, listen. Like I said, so start to think about whatever it is you want to use for your affirmation. And I'll remind you every week as we get closer and closer, but don't put it off and put it off and put it off. If you have Amazon, go on there and order some stuff off Amazon. If you can get to a Dollar Tree is great. Like I said, get yourself some Post-it notes at Dollar Tree, some markers, whatever it is you want to use, Sharpies, whatever, colored pencils. Doesn't matter to me. They're for you. But get your stuff so that you have what you want and you can enjoy the experience, okay? And I have got to go because I have another cooking stream to do. Thank you for coming. Thank yourselves for showing up. And thank you, Ronnie, for setting aside this time for yourself, right? And I will see you guys either Yeah, Ronnie says, see you for the cooking event. I'll see you either for the cooking event or I'll see you next week or I'll see you when I see you. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Quinn. And I'll see you. And then next week and next week I am going to take you guys into the studio. We're gonna do some resin. We're gonna do some resin, okay? Because I'm actually, everybody's always asking me about my website. Do I have a website and where can they buy my stuff? And Lord knows I've never gotten around to getting that done. People say, well, where can we buy your stuff? And so I'm going to finally do a Facebook live sale. I've never done that before, so who knows how that'll go. But I'm a little worried about the selling and the organizing and the showing of the stuff, but I think it'll be okay. So I have a lot of stuff I got to get done. So we're going to go down into the studio next week and we'll pour some resin. I don't know what yet, okay? And I think that's next Monday. And then, of course, I'll be back here next Tuesday, all right? Thank you, everybody. Listen, be kind. Be kind to yourselves. And find at least one thing today that you can thank yourself for and appreciate yourself for and pat yourself on the back that you do a great job. That you do it for you and only you could have done it. Okay? Do that. Find every reason you can to smile.